Hello everyone, welcome back to the Beginner's Guide to Mid/Mage. This is Clash. Now, first off, I want to point out that Conquest is actually a worst-case scenario for mages. While obviously they do need to be there, there's not really a whole lot of gods that can replace a mage in the mid lane. There are a couple hunters that I would go to for that, but not a whole lot. Passing lightly over that for a conversation for a future video, the early game of Conquest is a mage's worst nightmare. It's all about trying not to die and farming up and being very vulnerable and really praying that you've got the backup you need where you need it. As important as you are, the jungler, who is primarily going to be the person hanging around your lane, also has other responsibilities. That you've got other allies that will need help. The jungler has to, of course, clear the jungle camps. They've got other things they need to do. They can't just spend the entire time haunting your lane, obviously. So, for that particular reason, mages have a bit of a harder time in the early game of Conquest. In the late game, if you've actually been able to survive long enough, and you've also been able to, farm and not die and get everything you need, then you'll translate really well into the late game. You'll have a nice, strong late game. If you don't, then you're going to be pretty useless. But in Clash, and also this extends to Arena as well, as you probably can guess, you aren't quite as alone. You're pretty likely to have allies nearby that will help you out. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a dedicated support like they do with Atlas, but on the other hand, you'll notice that both sides have two mages. This is actually not accidental. Usually it's two mages, a warrior, a guardian, and a hunter. The fact that both sides have an assassin is a little bit interesting. We have a warrior instead of a guardian, excuse me. But it'll be fairly interesting. For that reason, though, I am going to want to be playing this a little bit safer than I normally would. Because what Clash is for mages is actually a continuous risk assessment analysis, basically. Do I want this fight? Did we start this fight? What's the situation looking like? Is my tank, or are our tanks in a better condition than theirs? What's their front line doing? What's their assassin doing if they have one? What's their warrior doing if they have one? How aggressive are they? You're basically asking all these questions. And so for this particular match, just like with the Conquest, because the role itself is very easy to understand, hit really hard, I'll be more talking about what I'm thinking and why I'm making my specific decisions. Now, Atlas here is trying to pressure me out. He's failed this, mostly because he doesn't really have a huge impact with that ability, at least without devoting more resources to it. Bit of poke on him, but that's fine. Now, again, I'm trying to be fairly conservative about this. Alright. This is a Kukulkan mirror match, so that's going to be fairly interesting. And I'm just kind of concerned about possible slaps, because I only see 4 out of 5 of them, so I don't know where the 5th is, which is a concern. So I'm not going to go over to the left, because I don't know what that situation is about right there. And I don't want anything to do with that right now. There's Fenrir. Yep, he was in mid. See, if I had gone in, I would have been in a very bad position, or I could have potentially been in a very bad position if I'd overstayed. Okay, Agni is fine. Now, the only reason I was really rushing over to get involved in that is because we just killed Fenrir, so we had the numerical advantage. Alright. He already hit level 5? Well, he was solo farming over here. Well, no, he wasn't. Interesting. Did he get the damage? He might have gotten the damage camp. He'd already been hit level 5. There we go. However, he used all of his mana for that. So that's probably going to be his last ability. Yep, it is. Now, the only reason that was a safe move is because I knew that the Kukulkan did not have much mana, that Atlas wasn't going to hit me very hard. I know Atlas's abilities. See, the fact that Fenrir is here, that actually freaks me out a little bit, because he could, theoretically, he's level 5, he could bounce in here, grab me out, and then just get me killed. Do I have enough for... I will by the time I get back. And I really don't want to be grabbed by Fenrir, but the Atlas wasn't a concern at that particular junction. What is Fenrir building? Okay, he's building hybrid. Tsukiyomi is also building hybrid. That does not surprise me. That's fine. Now, I'm building Book of Thoth first, just because, again, this is more unique to Kukulkan more than anything else. Just like, shoot. Very nice. Just like my build with Anubis was a little bit more unique to him, starting with the rushing the Bancroft's Talon was more unique to Anubis. Don't worry about it, guy. I'm just trying to farm up my stacks here. That was a terrible sneeze. See, this is concerning because actually now that Kukulkan has the mana, he could actually hit me for a decent amount of damage. He wasn't actually after me specifically. It's a bit unfortunate. Very nice, though. Again, it's more about the damage that I'm doing. Hello. Now, again, I threw out my abilities and then I started slowly backing off because what I didn't know was where the enemies were in left lane. Pardon me. See, he's trying to figure out if he wants to take that risk, but he shouldn't have. Okay, I'm too far up. I'm about to get killed by Fenrir. This is... Okay, I was able to back up in time. If Fenrir hadn't used his second ability and pretty much announced his presence, I would be dead right now. That was a huge mistake on Fenrir's part. I'm not sure if he was aware that I was specifically there or that I could hear him. I'm not really sure. But if he hadn't used that, I would be dead right now, honestly. So now we're going to get the heck out of here because I don't feel like dying today. Thank you very much. And we want this, and I want this. Now, again, this is because Power of the Wind Jewel is increasing my power based on my mana, which is absolutely delicious. I'm going to head left because right now Charybdis is wiping out, this groupie over here. And it's just a matter of playing cautiously enough until the team really starts to slap. Now, I was thinking about going over there, but quite frankly, it looked like Charybdis was looking to go over there. There's somebody else over here. It's Agni. That's fine. Just get rid of that wave there. Alright. Ah, shoot. See, I didn't want to move too far up because I knew Charybdis would be coming around that way. No, this is not a good idea. I'm not going to catch up to him, and that puts me in a very bad position, so we're not going to do that. What we do have is an interesting opportunity to maybe do some damage over here. I know you see me. You can't shoot through that, but I can throw a tornado over it, so... I missed that. Alright. He walked right into that. Alright, now I need to be aware of this Atlas here, because I've got no idea where Fenrir is. Fenrir is... Yeah, I still don't know where Fenrir is. Yeah, I don't want to mess with you particularly. There's Fenrir. Alright. Pay attention to that Fenrir. I'm taking a risk here, but they're all pretty low. Oh, see, he tried to get me with that. There we go. I could not hit an auto attack to save my life, but I'm a mage, so that doesn't matter. Ah, shoot. He swerved at the last possible second. Okay. That was a nice slap there. Good. Oh. What are you doing, guy? Okay, now we're going to back up because I can see reinforcements coming. Agni could probably do some really good damage to me, so I'm getting the heck out of here. No, he didn't. Okay, that's the minions I'm looking at. Getting whipped out. I'll defend the lane because I don't think Agni is going to push up that much unless he's completely insane. No, I'm getting out of here, guy. There's no way. There's no way. I do not have the health for that. I do need Aegis. Alright, good. I'm going to look at the left lane. The right lane over here, see what's going on over here. Doesn't look like much is going on over here. Go ahead and throw that down. We have a lot of enemies over here, but Fenrir's over there. Just get some poke on him. Again, that was pretty safe because there's no way anybody was going to be picking up anything over there. Alright. That's a bit aggressive. Did I hit anybody? I can't tell. I mean, you want to fight me right here, that's fine. I'm around the corner. Your allies aren't coming over. I don't know how I hit you with that auto attack, but okay. I don't want to push too far up here, actually. That's a really bad idea. There's Agni. Alright, where's Fenrir? That was an interesting use of that. There's Fenrir. Alright. Throw that down there. Yeah, just stay in that tornado. That's fine. That was an unfortunate waste of bacon. Oh, good job though. Good job on that hit. And there's my stacks all finished, which is nice. Yeah, so I don't want to get dragged in by Atlas, so okay, that works, I guess. I guess my tornado is enough to dissuade him. Let's see if we can save Artemis over here, because this is a way too pushed up Kukulkan. Ah, okay, he played that pretty smart. He went back the right way. Tsukiyomi's going to chase that, but I don't want to. I don't want to chase that. That's going to put me in a really unpleasant spot. That is too high risk for me. Here comes Atlas. There's Agni. Oh, okay. I mean, Tsukiyomi's doing work back there. And now let's take out Fenrir, because he's the only remaining threat on the board. Oh no, there's Kukulkan, never mind. We can't catch up to him. Ooh, hey there. Oh, I walked right into that. See how much damage I'm taking, though, even from the enemy Kukulkan, who isn't hitting as hard as me. Let me just heal off this minion wave really quick. And now we gotta get out of here, because they just respawned. I am not in any condition to be fighting. I need to get out of here. And we'll go ahead and take this. I think I should be able to take really quick. Yeah. And now we go back in relative safety. I want Typhon's Fangs, so we're going to go ahead and pick that up really quick. And I want more penetration. I think we'll pick up Charon's Coin. The movement speed will also really help Kukulkan. The speed buff here will be even more pronounced with Charon's Coin, which is what we love to see. I'll let them have that. I'm level 16. I really don't need that experience. I can come over here and take this minion wave instead. And have myself a merry little Christmas. I miss that? That's okay, he's dead. He's dead. And the enemy surrenders. I mean, again, while I didn't get to play through the full match, we were close enough where we were going to win that fight and then take the Titan, so that's why they surrendered. We would have ended that in probably the next 2-3 minutes. That was a shining example. That was easily one of the best examples I could provide you of what you want to do as a mage in Clash. And this extends to Arena as well. Obviously, Arena is a bit higher risk because you've got the whole problem of a bit harder farm. You're splitting the farm, so you can't necessarily level up quite as effectively. But this is a really shining and stellar example of your mindset when you're approaching as a mage in Clash. Now, keep in mind, there's also a really interesting mistake that Naxxerer did with their build. Now, we both started with Book of Thoth. That's specific to Kukulkan. If you're playing a mage, you don't necessarily always want to go into Book of Thoth. It really depends on the mage and your personal playstyle. But we both went into this because if only I could speak. Kukulkan, right? Very obvious. I went with Sands of Time, and the reason I went with Sands of Time is because I wanted a little bit of cooldown reduction. It's not much, but it's really cheap cooldown reduction you can get. I think it's, what, 750 gold? Kukulkan went into Polynomicon. Now, this was a mistake because you'll notice the passive using an ability gives your next basic attack within the next 8 seconds an additional 75% of your magic power as additional damage. This effect can apply once every 3 seconds. This sounds like it would be amazing on Kukulkan, and for a very long time, I also believed this was amazing on Kukulkan. And if you're accurate and really good at predicting enemy movements, it still is. Or, let me rephrase that, another alternative is if you've got a really good support with you, that's a really strong move. However, the problem is that the front line that this Kukulkan had, that Noxerar had, was Fenrir, who, yes, can play front line, he can lock down targets, but he can only lock down targets with his ultimate, which rather restricts that. And second, Atlas, while he can lock down opponents, it also takes a little bit of effort, and it's pretty easy to see coming. That's my main criticism of Atlas, is he's very predictable. You can see his every move coming from a mile away. With this said, Kukulkan wasn't going to have a whole lot of opportunities to get clean Polynomicon shots. If he hit somebody with the sneeze, then he would have to be able to follow up with a accurate auto attack, which isn't necessarily easy, because the opponent is slowed, sure, but slow isn't nearly as effective for guaranteeing a poly hit as, say, a root or a stun is. So it can get a little bit difficult to nail this, especially if you have the kind of front line that Noxerar had here. And then they went into Chronos Pendant for the cooldown that I had already had 10% of. And the problem with Chronos Pendant is it's very expensive for a third item. At least in my opinion. I think this is a little too pricey to be building at this particular point. Most of the time there are exceptions, obviously. But I think in this particular scenario, considering Kukulkan was already behind at this point, that this was probably not the move at that time. I went with Bancroft's so I could stay alive, and it worked out really well for me. And then I doubled down with that idea with Typhon's Fang. And then off I was going to go for Charon's Coin, and then I was going to probably finish up with some more cooldowns of my own. Probably Chronos Pendant, not necessarily though. Heck, once I evolved the Sands of Time, I wouldn't necessarily even need cooldowns. But yeah, that's really essentially how you want to be approaching and looking at the glorious Mage in Clash. Now, again, there tends to be 2 mages in Clash, so if you're a mage main, and somebody picks a mage in Clash or even Arena, don't worry about it. Go ahead, pick your favorite mage or whatever mage you want to play. 2 mages is fine in Clash. So, with that being said, thank you all very much for joining me. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, ideas, suggestions, or requests, please leave them down in the comment section below. Thank you all very much for joining me, and have a great 24 hours.